Hi, my name is Hazel Dye, and this is Chemical Reactions Explained. I'm going to be talking about what they are, how they work, what they look like, and the law of conservation of mass. So, when you hear the term chemical reaction, the first thing that may come to mind is the very well known baking soda and vinegar experiment. But there's a lot more to chemical reactions than that. A chemical reaction is a process that involves the rearrangement of the molecular or ionic structure of a substance. What does that look like? Well, let's start with an example of a chemical reaction that forms something that we depend on every single day: water. Water is made up of oxygen and hydrogen. When these two elements are combined, they form water, which looks like this. This chemical reaction can be represented by something called a chemical equation. This tells us what elements are present and how many molecules of each are there. In this case, the coefficient of 2 tells us that there are 2 hydrogen molecules, and the subscript of 2 tells us that each molecule is made up of 2 hydrogen atoms. For oxygen, there's no coefficient, so that tells us that there's only 1 molecule, but the subscript of 2 lets us know that there are 2 atoms in that molecule. On the other side of the yield sign, all of the same quantities of atoms are there, but they're rearranged. This brings me to the topic of the law of conservation of mass, which was declared by Antoine Lavoisier in 1789 and states that mass is neither created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. In chemical reactions, it's important to remember that nothing is disappearing or appearing from thin air. Everything is just rearranging. If we go back to our drawing of water, we can see that there are the same number of atoms on both sides, but in a different formation. The atoms go from individual molecules to a compound. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something new about chemical reactions.